Welcome to Monk's Moon Temple. Tonight, we are not going on a journey to somewhere else. We are arriving where we have always been. This moment. This breath. This quiet space between thoughts that has been patiently waiting beneath the noise of your day. Wherever you are listening from, whether it's a city apartment with distant traffic sounds or a countryside home with crickets chirping outside, let's meet here. In this shared stillness. You don't need to achieve anything. You don't need to understand anything. Your only invitation is to listen. And in the listening, something ancient within you remembers how to soften, how to release, how to settle into a peace that was never manufactured, but simply uncovered. Let your eyes close gently. Feel the weight of your body being supported completely by whatever surface you're resting on. Notice the slight sensation of the air on your skin. And let's begin not with effort, but with allowance. In the northern forests of Finland, there is a concept called hoihen, which translates to feather. But it means more than that. In the deep winter, when the snow falls so silently and thickly that it absorbs all sound, the Sami reindeer herders say the world is under a hoihen blanket. The normal boundaries between things soften. The line between earth and sky blurs. The distinction between tree and shadow disappears. Everything exists in a gentle, unified quiet. An elder once told a researcher who was frustrated by the lack of visibility, "You are trying to see edges where there are none." The snow is not hiding the world. It is reminding you that the separations you see in summer are just one way of looking. Right now, the forest is showing you its true nature. It is all one thing. The tree is not separate from the air around it. The rock is not separate from the snow upon it. And you, he said, placing a mittened hand on his own chest, are not separate from the silence that holds you. He invited the researcher to simply stand still for 10 minutes. At first, the man felt anxious, blind, disconnected. But as he stood, his frantic searching mind began to tire. And then he started to feel the world instead of trying to see it. He felt the immense, gentle pressure of the quiet. He felt the subtle vibration of life continuing beneath the blanket. Not as separate creatures, but as a single, breathing entity. He didn't feel lost. He felt dissolved. And in that dissolution was a profound sense of belonging he had never experienced in the bright clarity of summer. We spend our lives defining edges. Myself versus others. My problems versus the world. My past versus my future. My thoughts versus my awareness. We believe in these separations so completely that we feel isolated, adrift, fighting against everything out there. But what if, like the forest under the hoihen blanket, the separations are an illusion of a certain kind of light? What if the peace you seek is not about fixing the isolated pieces, but about remembering the unified whole? The silence that falls tonight isn't hiding your life. It's reminding you of a deeper truth. That you are not a stranger in this universe. You are an expression of it. The same awareness that witnesses your thoughts is the awareness that hears the distant sound, feels the cool air. It's all one field. When you stop fighting to be a separate, better, different you sink back into the wholeness that was always there. The problem was never the snow. It was your belief that you should be able to see summer's edges in the middle of winter's truth. If this sense of coming home speaks to you, consider subscribing to Monk's Moon Temple. Each visit is an invitation to remember this wholeness, to lay down the exhausting work of maintaining separateness. Now, let's travel from the silent snow to a vibrant, noisy place, a traditional souk in Istanbul. The air is thick with the scent of spices, cumin, sumac, dried rose petals, and the sound is a cacophony of merchants calling, customers haggling, and tea glasses clinking. In the very center of this chaos, there is a tiny courtyard with a fountain. An old man, a master calligrapher, sits there every day at a small wooden desk. He is painting intricate Arabic script with a reed pen, creating verses of poetry. A tourist, overwhelmed by the sensory overload, stumbles into the courtyard as if finding an oasis. He watches, mesmerized by the man's impossibly steady hand. "How can you concentrate here, with all this noise and movement?" he asks. The calligrapher doesn't look up. He completes a delicate curve before answering. "The noise is not a distraction. It is the canvas," he says. "If I needed absolute silence to make beauty, my art would be very fragile, dependent on a world that does not exist." Here, the shout of the rug merchant becomes the bold stroke. The laughter of children becomes the light dot. The clatter of pots becomes the rhythm of the spacing. I do not listen past the noise. I listen to it. I include it. The piece is not outside the noise. It is the space within me that can hold the noise without becoming it. He dipped his pen again. "You see, the problem is not the chaos of your life. The problem is that you believe peace must be its opposite. You think you must eliminate the chaos to find the quiet. But that is like the ocean trying to eliminate the waves to find the water. The water is the waves. The stillness is the depth that holds them both. Can you find the depth within you that holds your own chaos without trying to silence it? This is a revolutionary form of acceptance. We think meditation or peace is about creating a silent, empty mind amidst our noisy lives. We fight our thoughts, our feelings, our busy schedules as enemies of tranquility. But what if they are not enemies? What if they are simply the movement on the surface? The calligrapher's art was not despite the souk, it was in relationship with it. The noise became part of the art's context, its vibrancy. Your anxiety, your to-do list, your replaying of a conversation, these are the merchants shouting in your inner souk. Trying to forcefully silence them is exhausting and creates more conflict. But what if you could be the courtyard with the fountain? The centered, deep space that allows the noise to happen around it, while you engage in the deliberate, beautiful art of being present. The noise doesn't disappear. But it loses its power to disturb you. It becomes part of the landscape, not the master of it. Feel that right now. The sounds in your environment. The thoughts in your mind. Don't try to change them. Don't try to quiet them. Just imagine you are that central courtyard. Spacious. Contained. With a fountain of awareness gently flowing at your center. Let the sounds and thoughts move around this space. You are not the merchant shouting. You are the courtyard holding it all. Notice how this shifts the experience from struggle to observation. From conflict to containment. I remember visiting a vineyard in the hills of Tuscany after a devastating hailstorm. The vines were shredded. Leaves torn, young grapes battered to the ground. The vintner, a woman named Julia, was walking the rows, her fingers gently touching the damaged plants. I expected despair. Instead, I saw focused curiosity. I'm so sorry about your vines, I said. She looked up, her face weathered but calm. Why are you sorry? The storm happened. The vines are here. This is now the relationship. But, won't this ruin the harvest? She smiled. This harvest? Perhaps. The yield will be small. But the grapes that do grow will be extraordinary. The vine has been stressed. It will push all its intensity, its very essence, into the few remaining clusters. They will produce a wine with a story. A wine of resilience. It will be a vintage we talk about for decades. She explained that in winemaking, this is called stress viticulture. A vine that is too comfortable, too pampered, produces abundant but bland fruit. It has no character, no complexity. It is only when the vine meets a challenge, poor soil, limited water, or yes, a storm, that it digs deep into its roots and produces something truly remarkable. The struggle is not a detour from the purpose, it is the catalyst for depth. We run from stress. We see any difficulty as a sign that something has gone wrong with the plan of our lives. We want the easy, abundant, bland harvest. But what if your periods of struggle are your stress viticulture? What if the very challenges you resent, the loss, the failure, the anxiety, are forcing your roots to dig deeper into the soil of your own being? What if they are distilling your essence, so that what eventually emerges from you is not a bland, plentiful nothing, but a small, potent, incredibly valuable vintage of wisdom, compassion, or strength? Acceptance in this context is not passive suffering. It is the vintner's attitude, this is now the relationship. It is looking at the shredded leaves of your plans and saying, all right. This is the condition. How do I work with this to produce depth? It is trusting that your inner vine, your soul, knows how to respond to stress by concentrating its power into something more meaningful. The most celebrated wines are never from the easiest years. They are from the years of fire, frost, or storm. Your most meaningful growth will likely come from the same. Let this be a gentle permission. For whatever feels damaged or storm-struck within you. You don't have to fix it tonight. You don't have to pretend it's fine. You can simply acknowledge, with the curiosity of Julia the vintner, this is now the relationship. And in that acknowledgement, the fight ends. The energy you were using to resist what is, becomes available for the subtle, deep work of healing and integration. The roots begin their unseen work. In the high-altitude salt flats of Bolivia, the Sala de Uyuni, there is a phenomenon. When a thin layer of water covers the vast, white plain after a rain, the earth and sky become mirrors of each other. The horizon disappears. Walking on it, you feel as if you are suspended in the center of an infinite blue and white sphere. There is no up or down, no forward or back in the usual sense. Guides tell visitors that if you feel disoriented, you must not run. You must sit down. A traveler, overwhelmed by the sublime emptiness, panicked. He started running, trying to find an edge, a landmark. But every direction looked the same. He exhausted himself, his heart pounding with existential fear. Finally, he collapsed. And as he sat there on the damp salt, breathing heavily, something shifted. With no horizon to grasp, his mind gave up its frantic searching. He was forced to be exactly where he was, a single point in infinity. And in that surrender, the fear melted into awe. He wasn't lost. He was at the center of everything. The disorientation became a profound orientation to the present moment itself. We often live in a state of subtle panic, running on the salt flat of our lives. We need the horizon of next week's goals, next year's plans, the reassurance of known landmarks, our routines, our identities, our successes. When those dissolve, through loss, change, or simply the stillness of night, we feel terrifyingly disoriented. We run mentally, trying to reconstruct the horizon. We fill the silence with planning, the uncertainty with worry. But what if the guidance is the same? When you feel existentially disoriented, when the familiar landmarks of your life seem to have vanished, sit down. Not physically, but internally. Stop running. Collapse into the truth of this exact moment. The feeling of the breath. The beat of the heart. The sheer fact of being aware. This is your center. In the infinite mirror of past and future, this present awareness is the only solid ground. It is the point from which all horizons are imagined. When you rest here, disorientation transforms into the most profound kind of orientation. You are here. You are aware. And that is enough. That is everything. So tonight, if thoughts about tomorrow or regrets about yesterday make you feel lost on a great plain, remember the salt flat. You don't need to find the edge. You just need to sit down internally. To feel the undeniable reality of the body breathing, right now. This is your true location. You are not lost. You are at the center of your own experience. And from this center, any direction, when the time comes to move, will be clear. Let your awareness now be like that still water over the salt flat. Reflecting without distortion. Holding the vastness without fear. Simply being. The breath comes. The breath goes. Thoughts appear like clouds in the reflected sky. They are not you. They are simply passing reflections in the boundless space of your awareness. Rest in that boundlessness. Let's travel now from the vast silence of the salt flats to a place of immense, roaring sound. Off the coast of Iceland, there are sea cliffs where millions of puffins nest each summer. The air is filled with a cacophony of beating wings, sharp calls, and the relentless crash of the North Atlantic against the rocks below. It is chaos, life at its most raw and dense. A biologist studying there told me about a remarkable adaptation. The puffin chicks, safe in their burrows, are born into this world of noise. Their parents' return is not announced by silence, but by a specific vibration, a particular frequency of footfall on the earth above their hidden nests. The chick learns to ignore the hurricane of sound, the wind, the waves, the cries of other birds, and attune only to that one, quiet, life-giving tremor. It waits in the darkness, not disturbed by the storm, listening for the signal that means home has arrived. He said, "We think of peace as the absence of noise. But for these chicks, peace is a profound selectivity. It is knowing what to listen for amidst the chaos. The noise isn't the problem. The problem is trying to listen to all of it at once, or believing all of it is equally important. Our minds are like those cliffs. Thoughts crash in like waves. Emotions swirl like flocks of birds. Memories and plans beat their wings constantly. We try to find peace by stopping the storm, by silencing the ocean of our mental activity. This is impossible, and the attempt is exhausting. But what if we could learn the puffin chick's wisdom? What if peace is not about eliminating the noise, but about refining our attention? About learning to feel for the specific, grounding vibration of the present moment beneath the chaos? That vibration is your breath. It is the feeling of your body against the surface supporting it. It is the simple, undeniable fact of being aware. These are the footfalls of the present moment, arriving constantly at the entrance of your nest. You can lie here in the dark of your closed eyes, with the storm of thoughts raging, and simply tune your attention to that one, steady, life-giving signal. I am here. This breath is here. This sensation is here. You don't have to fight the other noises. You just stop giving them your primary attention. You let them be the background weather of your mind, while you nestle into the quiet truth of the immediate signal. The chaos continues, but it ceases to be disruptive. You have found your point of inner silence within the outer roar. Now, imagine an ancient library in the desert, like those that once existed in Timbuktu or the monasteries of the Sinai Peninsula. The air is dry, preserved. The manuscripts are centuries old, their pages fragile as dried leaves. The librarians there do not handle them with forceful, direct hands. They use tools, soft brushes to lift a page, smooth weights to hold a corner, special cradles to support the spine. A conservator once explained to a visitor who was eager to dig in, if you try to grasp the page directly, to force it flat, you will tear it. The paper has become brittle with age. It has its own will, its own fragile integrity. Your job is not to command it, but to support it. To create the conditions where it can safely reveal itself. You follow its lead. If it resists opening to a certain page, you do not insist. You go where it allows. Your respect for its fragility is what allows its wisdom to be shared. We often approach our own inner world, our emotions, our memories, our tender spots, with the clumsy, forceful hands of judgment and immediate solutions. We try to grasp our anxiety and force it flat. We try to pin down our grief and demand it make sense. And in that forceful handling, we tear the delicate pages of our own experience. We create more damage, more fragmentation. What if you could become the librarian of your own soul? What if you could approach your feelings with the soft brush of curiosity, the supportive cradle of compassion? When resistance comes, when a memory feels too brittle to touch, when an emotion feels too fragile to examine, you don't insist. You don't force the page. You gently support the spine of the moment and allow it to open only as far as it is ready to go tonight. This is acceptance as the deepest form of self-respect. It is understanding that healing is not a forced excavation, but a patient, supported revelation. The wisdom is in the manuscript. You cannot rush it without destroying it. Your gentle, non-forceful attention is the perfect tool for its unfolding. Let's practice that gentle librarian's touch right now. Bring your awareness to your heart center, or simply to the feeling in your chest. Is there a sensation there? Tightness? Heaviness? Openness? A mix? Don't try to change it. Don't force it to be something else. Simply hold it in your awareness as if it were a precious, fragile manuscript. Observe it with a soft, supportive attention. You are not tearing the page. You are allowing it to be exactly as it is. And in that allowing, notice if there is the slightest, natural shift, not because you made it, but because it felt safe enough to relax, just a fraction, in the cradle of your non-judgmental awareness. In the Appalachian Mountains of the United States, there is a tradition of shape note singing. The music is not written on a standard staff with notes. Instead, each tone in the scale is given a specific shape, a triangle, a square, a diamond. When a community gathers to sing, they don't start by singing the words. They first sing the shapes. Fa, Sol, La, using the note's unique shape as its name. The sound is raw, powerful, strangely dissonant as everyone finds their harmonic line. Only after the shapes have been solidly established do they sing the actual hymn lyrics. The foundation must be laid in pure, relational tone. An elder singer said, "The shapes are the truth beneath the words." The words can be pretty or sad, but the shapes, the relationships between the notes, are eternal. If you try to sing the pretty words without first finding the true shapes, the song has no foundation. It will wobble and fall apart. You have to be willing to spend time in the dissonance of finding the right relationship before the beauty can truly emerge. Our lives are like this. We want to sing the beautiful song, the song of peace, of purpose, of happy relationships. We jump straight to the lyrics. But we haven't established the fundamental shapes, the true relationship we have with ourselves, with this moment, with reality itself. We try to sing peace while our inner relationship is one of resistance and war with what is. The song wobbles. It feels false. Acceptance is the practice of singing the shapes first. It is willingness to sit in the sometimes dissonant truth of what is, before layering on the story of what we wish was true. This is the shape of my weariness. Fa. This is the shape of the unresolved problem. Sol. This is the shape of the quiet room. La, you sing the plain truth of the current condition. This might feel raw, even jarring. It's not yet the pretty hymn. But you are establishing the true harmonic foundation. And from that foundation of truthful relationship with the present, any beauty you then create, any action, any word, any next step, will be solid. It will ring true because it is built on the honest shapes of reality, not the wished-for lyrics of fantasy. So tonight, don't try to sing the perfect lullaby of instant peace. Just sing the shapes. Name the simple, unadorned facts of your present experience, without judgment. The shape of the breath moving in. The shape of the weight on the mattress. The shape of the sound in the distance. Find the truthful harmony between you and this moment. From that foundation, rest naturally emerges. It is the beautiful lyric that writes itself when the shapes are true. My grandmother kept a mending basket. It was not for clothes that were ruined, but for clothes that were loved. A sock with a thin heel. A sweater with a small tear at the elbow. She would not mend them immediately. The basket would sit in a corner of her sunny kitchen, filled with these slightly wounded textiles. Once a week, usually on a rainy afternoon, she would take the basket down. She'd examine each item, feeling for the weakness in the fabric. Then she'd mend, not with a harsh, invisible stitch meant to disguise, but often with a colorful thread, a bright red darn on a gray sock, a blue patch on a brown elbow. I asked her once why she didn't just fix them right away, or make the mends invisible. She said, if I fix it the moment it tears, the fix is an emergency. It is tense. The thread is angry. But if I let it rest in the basket, the garment and I both forget the urgency. When I come to it later, it is just a fact, here is a place that needs support. And the colorful thread? That is so the garment remembers it was loved enough to be repaired. The mend becomes part of its story, not a secret it has to keep. We carry an invisible, mending basket for our spirits. Something happens. A hurtful word, a small failure, a moment of fear, and we feel an immediate tear in our peace. Our instinct is to either panic and try an emergency, ugly mend, with denial, blame, or distraction, or to ignore the tear until it becomes a gaping hole. What if you could adopt my grandmother's practice? When a small tear occurs in your emotional fabric, could you gently place it in the inner mending basket? Not to ignore it, but to let the urgency dissipate. To allow it to simply be a fact. Here is a place that feels tender. Then, later, from a place of calm, you can attend to it. Not with an angry, invisible stitch of self-criticism, why are you so weak, but with the colorful thread of compassion. The repair, I see that hurt. It's understandable. I am here for myself, becomes part of your story, a testament to your own capacity for loving repair. The weakness becomes, over time, a place of unique strength and pattern. The acceptance is in the non-urgent, loving attention. It is in knowing that not everything needs to be fixed right now, but everything worthy of love deserves a mindful, colorful mend. As you drift closer to sleep, imagine placing any small tears from today into a soft, woven basket at the foot of your awareness. There is no urgency. They can rest there. You are not ignoring them. You are simply letting them wait for the gentle, colorful thread of tomorrow's compassion. For now, there is only the whole cloth of this moment, intact and sufficient for a peaceful night's rest. In the deep Sahara, the Tuareg people, often called the blue men for their indigo robes, navigate by reading the stars and the dunes, which are never the same from one day to the next. They have a saying, the desert is an ocean with its shores hidden. To cross it, you cannot follow a fixed map. You must follow a feeling. A subtle knowing in the body, an alignment with the constellations, an understanding of the wind's language. A guide was once asked by an explorer how he never got lost. The guide pointed to the endless, shifting sands. You see a wasteland, he said. I see a conversation. Every dune has a story it tells the wind. Every star has a place in a tale older than names. I am not navigating across the desert. I am listening to the desert tell me where I am within it. To be lost, you must believe you are separate from what surrounds you. But I am part of the conversation. How can a word in a sentence be lost from the sentence? This is perhaps the deepest teaching of acceptance, the end of separation. We feel lost in our lives because we believe we are a separate traveler crossing a hostile or indifferent landscape of circumstances. We fight the dunes of difficulty, curse the heat of challenge, and long for the distant shore of some future resolution. But what if you are not crossing your life? What if you are in a continuous, intimate conversation with it? The feeling of anxiety is not an obstacle, it is a dune with a shape, telling you about the winds of your thoughts. The feeling of sadness is not a pit to fall into, it is a star in your emotional night sky, indicating a specific location in your heart. When you stop seeing your inner and outer experience as a landscape to conquer and start listening to it as a language to understand, you cannot be lost. You are a living word in the ongoing story of your being. Your breath is part of this story. The faint sound in your room is part of this story. The weight of the blanket is part of this story. You are not lost in the desert of the night. You are in a quiet, profound conversation with it. Listen not for a way out, but for the truth of where you are. The sentence is still being spoken. And you belong in it, exactly here, exactly now. Let yourself feel that belonging. Not as a thought, but as a sensation. The feeling of being a natural part of the darkness, the silence, the spaciousness of this moment. You are not an intruder in the night. You are the night, conscious of itself, resting. The conversation is a whisper now, just the simple exchange of breath. And in that whisper, everything is found, because nothing was ever truly separate to begin with. Let's journey to a different kind of ocean. In the coastal redwood forests of California, the ground is often thick with fog. These ancient trees, the tallest living things on earth, do not resist the fog. They do not wait for clear skies to grow. They have developed a remarkable adaptation. They drink the fog directly through their needles. The very thing that obscures the sun, that limits the distant view, becomes their sustenance. A park ranger told me, we think of fog as an obstacle to clarity. For the redwood, it is a source of life. It is what allows it to reach such heights in a land with dry summers. The tree doesn't have an opinion about the fog. It has a relationship with it. What in your life feels like the fog? The uncertainty, the lack of clear vision, the times when you can't see the path ahead. Our instinct is to see this as a problem, a hindrance to our growth. We wait, frustrated, for the sun of certainty to burn it away so we can move forward. But what if, like the redwood, you could learn to metabolize the fog itself? What if the uncertainty is not blocking your growth, but is the very moisture your roots need for a different kind of deepening? The nourishment for patience. The hydration for trust. The clarity you seek might not come from the fog lifting to reveal a distant horizon, but from learning to drink from the immediacy of not knowing itself. Can you feel that shift? From resisting the fog of this moment, the not knowing what tomorrow brings, the unclear feeling in your heart, to simply letting it be there, and wondering if it might contain a subtle, direct nourishment for your spirit, if you could but open to it. The redwood doesn't struggle. It extends its needles and receives. In your willingness to lie here, not with answers, but with an open, receiving attention to the unknown, you are doing the same. You are growing in a different dimension. I recall a pottery workshop in the mountains of North Carolina. The instructor, a woman with clay permanently under her fingernails, taught us how to center the clay on the wheel. This is everything, she said. If the clay is not centered, no matter how beautiful your intention, the pot will be wobbly. It will collapse. We all struggled, our hands slipping, the clay becoming a lopsided, messy lump. We used force, muscle, will. It only made things worse. She placed her hands gently over mine on the spinning wheel. Stop trying to make it centered, she whispered. Your hands are not clamps. They are a cradle. Feel for the wobble. Don't fight it. Just feel where it is. Then, with steady, even pressure, you simply invite the clay back to its own true center. The center is already in there. You are not imposing it from the outside. You are helping the clay remember where it wants to be. Under her guidance, I stopped forcing. I felt the uneven pulse of the spinning mass. I applied a consistent, receiving pressure. And magically, the wobble began to smooth. The clay seemed to sigh and settle into a perfect, still point on the wheel. From there, raising the walls of the vessel was effortless, almost as if the clay was lifting itself. Our minds and hearts are so often that wobbly, off-center lump of clay. We feel off-kilter, unstable, emotionally asymmetrical. And we try to fix it with force. We clamp down with rigid self-discipline. We muscle our way into positive thinking. We try to impose a center from the outside, through willpower alone. And it creates more wobble, more internal resistance. The practice of acceptance is like those steady, cradling hands. It begins with feeling the wobble without panic. Ah, here is anxiety, pulling to the left. Here is sadness, a heaviness on the bottom. You don't fight these off-center pulls. You acknowledge them. You feel their weight and rhythm. Then, with the steady, even pressure of your breath and kind attention, you simply invite your awareness back to its natural, still point, the center of the present moment. You are not creating peace. You are allowing the wobble to subside by no longer adding to it. Your true center. The awareness that witnesses the wobble, is already here, perfectly still. You are just helping your experience settle back into alignment with it. Right now, feel for your center. Not in space, but in being. The still point beneath the spinning thoughts, the emotional wobbles. It's the silent awareness behind everything. Place the gentle, cradling hands of your attention around the feeling of being here. Don't force anything to be different. Just provide a steady, loving presence. Feel if anything settles, not because you made it, but because it was allowed to. In the mythology of the Inuit people of the Arctic, there is a figure called the Sea Mother, Sedna. She lives at the bottom of the ocean, and her hair is tangled with all the sea creatures. When humans displease her, she withholds the animals, and famine strikes. The shaman's task is not to battle Sedna, but to descend in a trance, to comb the tangles from her hair. It is an act of intimate, careful service. He soothes her anger not by force, but by attending to her neglected state, by gently untangling the knots. Only then will she release the seals and whales for the people to hunt. We have our own inner, Sednas, deep, powerful, sometimes seemingly wrathful aspects of our psyche, repressed grief, old anger, primal fear. They live in the depths of our unconscious. When they are displeased, when we ignore them, deny them, try to lock them away, they withhold our inner vitality. We experience a famine of joy, a scarcity of peace. Our modern instinct is to go to war with these parts, to suppress the anger, to numb the grief, to argue with the fear. But the shaman's way is the way of acceptance. It is the courageous, gentle descent into our own depths, not to fight, but to attend. To sit with the tangled, neglected emotion and begin, with the comb of compassionate awareness, to gently untangle it. I see you, anger. You are knotted here from that old injustice. I feel you, grief. Your strands are matted with tears. This is not analysis. It is care. It is the recognition that these powerful forces are not enemies to be defeated, but aspects of our own wholeness that have become tangled and distressed. When we attend to them with the shaman's respectful care, they often relax. They release their grip. The vitality they were withholding, the energy bound up in the knot, flows back into our lives as creativity, compassion, or simple, unblocked peace. Tonight, you don't have to descend to the deepest ocean floor. But you can offer a shaman's kindness to whatever feeling is present at the surface. Is there a slight tangle of worry? A snarl of tomorrow's anticipation? Just acknowledge it. Whisper to it internally, as if to a powerful, misunderstood being, I am here. I am attending. Often, the simple act of respectful attention begins the untangling. Now, let's visit a place of meticulous simplicity, a Japanese rock garden, or kairsensui. Raked gravel represents flowing water or mist. Stones represent islands or mountains. There is no water. There is no mist. There is only suggestion, and the profound peace that arises from the mind completing the picture within a strict, minimalist frame. A monk tending such a garden explained, the emptiness is not a lack. It is the most important element. The stones are defined by the space around them. The rake lines give direction because of the blankness they cross. If we filled every inch with decoration, the mind would have nowhere to rest, no space to imagine the waterfall or the vast sea. The peace comes from the balance between form and void. The void holds the form, and the form gives meaning to the void. Your mind is such a garden. Your thoughts, sensations, and feelings are the stones and the raked lines. They have their place. But the peace you seek is not in adding more stones, more thoughts, more plans, more analysis. The peace is in recognizing and resting in the empty space between and around these forms. The clear, open awareness that holds them. We focus so intensely on the stones, the problem, the memory, the to-do list, that we forget the spacious ground that makes their arrangement possible, even beautiful. Acceptance, in this sense, is not about loving the stones you don't like. It's about shifting your primary attention from the stone to the ground that holds it. When you do that, the stone doesn't disappear, but its power to disturb you diminishes. It becomes part of a harmonious composition, held in a vast, peaceful space. The void of pure awareness is your true nature. The thoughts are just the carefully placed rocks. You can appreciate their form without being confined by them. As you lie here, practice seeing your thoughts as stones in the vast gravel garden of your awareness. Notice one appear. Then, instead of jumping onto the stone, feel the space around it. The silence from which it emerged and into which it will dissolve. Rest in that space. It is not empty. It is full of potential, full of peace. It is the ground of your being. There's a phenomenon in the Norwegian fjords called dead water. When a layer of fresh glacial meltwater sits on top of the denser salt water, it can create a strange resistance for ships. The ship's propeller churns the water, but instead of moving forward efficiently, it gets stuck, laboring against this hidden, internal drag. The solution, discovered by sailors long ago, is to slow down. sometimes even to stop. To allow the waters to settle back into their distinct layers. Then, with gentle momentum, the ship can move through. We all experience periods of dead water in our lives. We push forward, we churn with effort, trying to make progress on a project, to force a resolution in a relationship, to push through emotional fatigue, but we feel a mysterious, exhausting drag. No momentum builds. We spin our propellers in frustration. The wisdom of the fjord sailors is the wisdom of acceptance in action. When you meet that inner resistance, that sense of effortful stagnation, the counterintuitive answer is not to push harder. It is to slow down. To stop, even if just internally. To let the agitated layers of your being, the frantic surface thoughts, the churned-up emotions, settle. To allow clarity to re-stratify. From that place of calm, grounded stillness, gentle, authentic movement becomes possible again. The direction often reveals itself. The energy returns. You weren't stuck because you were weak. You were stuck because you were fighting the physics of your own inner ecosystem. Feel into your system right now. Has there been a churning today? A sense of pushing against invisible resistance? You have permission to stop. Right here. To let the propeller of your striving mind idle down. Feel the waters of your energy begin to settle. The fresh layer of calm resting on the deep, still salt of your fundamental being. There is no need to move forward from this place tonight. The only movement is the natural, gentle drift into rest. Finally, a personal memory. I once got hopelessly lost while hiking in the Smoky Mountains. The trail marker I was sure of led to a confusing network of old logging roads. The sun was getting low. Panic set in. I started running one way, then another, my heart pounding. Then, I remembered an old piece of advice: when you're lost, the first thing to do is admit you're lost. Then, sit down. I forced myself to stop. To sit on a mossy log. To admit, I have no idea where I am. In that admission, the panic transformed into a sharp, clear alertness. I noticed the direction of the fading light. I heard the sound of a stream downhill. Streams often lead to larger valleys, sometimes to roads. I noticed a type of moss that tends to grow on the north side of trees. I wasn't found yet, but I was no longer running in circles. I was in a real relationship with my actual surroundings, not with my mistaken map. That's how I eventually walked out, just as full dark fell. We spend so much mental energy pretending we are not lost, in our careers, in our relationships, in our search for meaning. We keep running down mental logging roads based on old, faulty maps of who we should be. Acceptance is the courage to sit down on the mossy log and say, here, in this feeling, I am lost. Not with despair, but with honesty. That honesty stops the frantic, circular running. It brings you into true contact with the terrain of your present moment. From that true contact, the subtle cues for direction emerge, the inner stream of intuition, the light of a new insight, the moss of an instinct. You may not see the full path, but you take one true step. And then another. You navigate by what is, not by where you thought you were supposed to be. Tonight, if any part of you feels lost, simply offer it the kindness of that sitting down. It's okay to be unsure here. In that allowance, the false running stops. You come home to the truth of where you actually are, here, in this breath, in this safe, dark, quiet space. And from this true location, all journeys eventually begin again, when the time is right. Let that be enough. For now, there is only the mossy log of this present moment, and the profound peace of having stopped running. Let's imagine the deep, resonant quiet of a cave. Not just any cave, but one like the Waitomo glowworm caves in New Zealand. In the absolute darkness, the ceiling is alive with thousands of tiny, bioluminescent lights, a silent, starry night held underground. The guides there instruct visitors to float silently in the boats. The only sound is the occasional drip of water. The stillness is so complete it feels like a substance. A geologist once told me that in such caves, stalactites grow at a rate of about 1 cubic inch every 100 years. Their growth is invisible to a human lifetime. They are monuments to patience, formed by the constant, gentle surrender of mineral-rich water to the pull of gravity, drop by single drop. He said, "We come in here and see the magnificent result of millions of drops. But the cave itself experiences only one drop at a time. This drip. And then this one. It has no concept of creating a cathedral. It is simply being in a relationship with water, stone, and time. The grandeur is the byproduct of unwavering attendance to the single, present moment of deposition. We look at the grand structures we wish to build in our lives, peace of mind, wisdom, emotional resilience, and we become discouraged because we cannot see them growing. We want the magnificent stalactite now. We try to force it, to carve it with our will. But true, enduring inner structures are formed like those calcite pillars, through the patient, undramatic, continuous surrender to the process of this moment. Each time you return your attention to your breath instead of a worry, that is a single, mineral-rich drop. Each time you meet frustration with a sigh of allowance rather than resistance, that is another drop. You cannot see the growth. But over the days, the months, the years, an incredible, sturdy architecture of calm is being formed within you, drip by invisible drip. Your practice is not about building anything. It is about showing up for the deposition. The cave of your awareness does the rest, in its own timeless way. Now, picture a weaver in a small village in Guatemala. She works at a traditional backstrap loom, one end tied to a tree, the other around her waist. The pattern she creates is not drawn on paper. It lives in her mind, passed down through generations. She doesn't look at the whole emerging fabric as she works. Her focus is on the current shed, the temporary space between the raised and lowered threads where her shuttle passes through. If she thinks about the entire, complex pattern, her tension falters. If she worries about a mistake 3 rows back, her hands become clumsy. She once explained to an anthropologist, the pattern is made one shed at a time. This opening. This thread. Then I change the shed. A new opening appears. I pass the thread. The beauty of the whole cloth is guaranteed only by my complete attention to the opening right in front of me. The past rows are woven. They are solid. The future rows are not here yet. There is only this shed, this pass. Your life is woven on such a loom. The pattern, your story, your character, is complex and beautiful. But you cannot weave it by obsessing over the finished product or lamenting a perceived flaw in a past row. You can only weave it by attending to the current, shed, the present moment, the space that is open to you right now. This breath is a pass of the shuttle. This gentle letting go is a change of the shed, creating a new opening. When your attention is fully in this opening, the tension is perfect. The weave is strong. The pattern unfolds with a grace that feels almost effortless, because you are not fighting the loom of time. You are working with its fundamental mechanism, the eternal now. Feel that opening now. The shed of this moment. The space between the in-breath and the out-breath. The quiet between heartbeats. That is where your power to weave your experience lies. Not in reweaving yesterday, or in worrying about the thread you'll use tomorrow. Just here. In this opening. Pass the shuttle of your awareness through it, gently, and let that be enough. I remember watching a maple tree in my backyard through a particularly windy autumn. The leaves were turning and beginning to fall. During a fierce gust, most leaves clung desperately, fluttering and straining. But a few, usually the most brilliantly colored ones, simply released their grip the moment the wind touched them. They didn't fight. They let go instantly and sailed in graceful, swirling arcs to the ground. They looked like they were dancing, not falling. The ones that clung eventually tore off anyway, often in a ragged, sudden rip, their journey to the earth abrupt and graceless. The lesson was so clear. The season of release comes for everyone, for every experience, every role, every temporary state of being. We can cling with all our might, fearing the fall, until the wind of change eventually tears us from our branch with trauma and resistance. Or, we can sense the natural cycle completing, and when the wind of circumstance invites us to let go, we can release with trust. Our descent then becomes not a crash, but a dance, a beautiful, necessary part of the cycle that nourishes the earth for the next growth. What in you is in its autumn? An old habit that no longer serves. A story about yourself that has lost its green vitality. A role you've outgrown. Feel the wind of change touching it. Acceptance is not the grim duty of holding on until you break. It is the courageous, even joyful, decision to release your grip when the time is ripe, to trust that your letting go is part of a larger, intelligent dance of renewal. The tree is not diminished by the loss of its leaves. It is preparing for its winter rest, its essential energy pulling back into its core. Your releases do the same. They pull your vital energy back to your core, making space for a new spring that you cannot yet imagine. So, as you rest, scan the inner tree of your being. Is there a leaf, a thought, a worry, a plan, that is brilliantly colored but ready to be released? You don't have to force it. Just feel the gentle wind of the breath. And if there's a readiness, imagine opening your grip, just a little. Letting that thought float away on the exhale, not with loss, but with the grace of a maple seed spinning on the air. The tree of your awareness remains, strong and rooted, ready for rest. In the vast outback of Australia, Aboriginal trackers can read the land in a way that seems supernatural. They can find water by observing the flight of a certain bird at a specific time of day. They can tell if an animal passed by days ago by the subtlest disturbance of a pebble or the way a blade of grass is bent. They don't see a barren landscape. They see a living story, written in signs. An elder tracker was trying to teach a young city-born man. The man saw nothing but red dirt and scrub. Frustrated, he said, "I don't see any signs." The elder knelt and pointed to a barely visible line in the sand. "This is the track of the mala, the hair wallaby. It is light, because it was moving quickly, before the heat of the day." He pointed to a few seeds scattered near a rock. "It stopped here to eat. It was calm." He gestured to a faint, wider depression further on. Here it rested in the shade. It was safe. He stood up. "You are looking for big arrows pointing the way. The land does not shout. It whispers. To hear it, you must become quiet yourself. You must believe that everything is connected, and every little thing is a word in the story." We often feel lost in the landscape of our inner world because we are looking for big, obvious signs, dramatic intuitions, clear roadmaps from the universe. We miss the subtle tracks. The slight lift in your chest when you think of a certain possibility, that is the track of your joy, moving quickly. The gentle heaviness when you consider a burdensome obligation, that is where your energy rests, reluctantly. The scattered seeds of memories that come up around a person. That is what your heart has been feeding on. Acceptance, here, is the tracker's art. It is quieting the loud voice of expectation and analysis, and instead learning to read the subtle whisper of your own being. It is trusting that everything in your field of experience, every sensation, emotion, and thought, is connected and is telling you the story of where you are right now. You are not lost. You are surrounded by intelligent signs. Your boredom, your irritation, your sudden peace. These are all tracks. They tell you what is passing through the landscape of your soul. You don't need to judge them as good or bad. Just read them. Learn their language. Ah, this feeling means I'm tired. This sensation means something is unresolved. In that quiet reading, you always know where you are. And knowing where you are is the first and most important step in knowing where to go. Practice this tracker's stillness now. What is the subtlest track in your present experience? Not the loud thought, but the faint sensation. A coolness on the cheek. A pulse in the wrist. A general mood, like a tint on the world. Just notice it. Read it as a simple sign of life, here, now. You are reading the story of this moment. And in this story, you are home. There is a bridge in Lucerne, Switzerland, called the Chapel Bridge. It's a long, covered wooden bridge from the 14th century, and inside, under its roof, are triangular paintings depicting events from the city's history. Walking its length is like moving through an illustrated timeline. But the bridge itself was nearly destroyed by a fire some years ago. Many of the paintings were lost. When it was rebuilt, they restored what they could and left blank spaces where paintings were gone forever. A tour guide there said something poignant. The blank triangles are not mistakes. They are part of the history now. They tell the story of the fire. If we tried to fill them with new, fake old paintings, the bridge would be a lie. It would have no integrity. The truth of its journey includes the loss. The emptiness speaks as powerfully as the images. Our personal history is such a bridge. We want it to be a perfect, continuous narrative, all the triangles filled with neat, coherent pictures. We try to paint over our losses, our failures, our periods of confusion with new stories of justification or denial. We want to hide the blank spaces where the fire of experience burned away our old certainties. But integrity, wholeness, comes from including the blanks. Acceptance means allowing the empty triangles in your story to remain empty. To acknowledge, here, there was a fire. Here, something was lost. I do not have a pretty picture to put in its place. That empty space is not a deficiency. It is a testament to your survival, to the fact that you walked through fire and the bridge still stands. It allows light to come through in a different way. It makes the remaining pictures, your joys, your loves, your triumphs, stand out with more meaning and beauty. Your story is true because of the blanks, not in spite of them. Tonight, if a memory arises that feels like a blank, burned triangle. A regret, a grief, a simple, I don't know what that meant, don't rush to paint over it. Let it be an open space in the covered bridge of your mind. Let the night air move through it. Its emptiness is part of your architecture, part of what makes you strong and real. Finally, consider the humble oyster. When a grain of sand, an irritant, gets inside its shell, the oyster does not have the option of removing it. It cannot spit it out. Fighting against this foreign, uncomfortable presence is futile. So, it begins a patient, miraculous process. It secretes a substance called nacre, layer upon lustrous layer, slowly, patiently coating the irritant. Over time, what was a source of irritation becomes the nucleus of a pearl, something of unique beauty and value. We all have our grains of sand, irritations, old wounds, persistent flaws, sources of shame. Our first instinct is to fight them, to try to expel them from our awareness. We think, if only I could get rid of this feeling, this memory, this part of myself, then I would be at peace. But some things cannot be expelled. They are part of our history, woven into our shell. The oyster's wisdom is the wisdom of transformative acceptance. It stops fighting the unrejectable. Instead, it relates to it in a new way. It begins to coat it with the nacre of loving attention, of understanding, of integration. You cannot change the fact that the grain of sand, the past hurt, the anxiety trigger, entered your life. But you can change your relationship to it. You can, with time and gentle, consistent patience, coat it with the layers of your own growing wisdom and compassion. What was a raw irritant becomes, gradually, the center of your greatest strength and beauty, your own unique pearl. The wound becomes the site of the gift. Not because the wound was good, but because your response to it was alchemical. You don't have to start secreting nacre tonight. You simply have to stop trying to spit out the grain of sand. To acknowledge, this is here. I cannot forcibly remove it. In that cessation of futile struggle, the natural, healing process can begin. Your own inner nature is your capacity for kind awareness. Just letting the irritant sit within that awareness is the first, luminous layer. As you drift towards sleep, imagine any lingering irritant in your heart or mind. Don't push it away. Imagine surrounding it with the soft, luminous substance of your own peaceful attention. Not to fix it, but simply to hold it in a new way. You are not an oyster making effort. You are an oyster being what you are, a creature capable of transforming hardship into beauty through the natural, patient secretions of a loving presence. Let that process begin in the darkness, unseen. Trust that it is already happening. Let's voyage to the middle of the Atlantic, to the Sargasso Sea. Unlike other seas, it has no land boundaries. It is defined only by a system of rotating ocean currents that trap a unique ecosystem within them. Its waters are a distinctive deep blue, remarkably clear and calm. For centuries, sailors feared it as a place where ships could be becalmed, trapped in windless doldrums. But marine biologists see it differently. It's a vital, gentle nursery. Eels from across Europe and North America migrate thousands of miles to spawn there. Sea turtles find refuge in its floating meadows of sargassum weed. It is a place of stillness at the center of movement, a haven defined not by walls, but by rhythm. A scientist studying this phenomenon said, "The Sargasso Sea teaches us that a sanctuary doesn't need solid borders. It can be created by a pattern of flow." The very currents that might seem to trap you are also what hold the space of life and renewal. To be becalmed here is not to be stuck. It is to be held in a necessary pause, in the clear water where deep processes can unfold. Your mind can feel like the open ocean, vast, sometimes stormy, with currents of thought pulling you in every direction. You might fear stillness, equating it with being stuck or unproductive. But what if you could discover your own Sargasso Sea within? A sanctuary not built by rigid boundaries of denial or forced positivity, but created by the gentle, turning currents of your breath and awareness. This inner sea is a place of profound clarity and calm at the center of your mental weather. It is a nursery for what is growing within you, a refuge for weary parts of your soul making their long migration home. To rest here, becalmed, in meditation or sleep, is not a failure of progress. It is the essential, renewing pause. The currents of life will pick up again. But for now, you are held in a clear, blue stillness that is itself a vital part of the journey. Feel yourself floating in that inner Sargasso Sea now. The thoughts are like distant currents, circling but not disturbing the clear, calm water at your center. You are held by the gentle rhythm of your own being. There is nowhere to go. This is the sanctuary. In the narrow, winding canals of Venice, the gondoliers have a skill that looks like magic. They navigate tight corners, avoid other boats, and glide under low bridges with a single, long oar. They never fight the water. They don't paddle frantically. They use the oar as a lever and a rudder, feeling for the resistance of the water against the blade, using it to pivot and steer. The secret, one gondolier told me, is in the forcola, the carved wooden oarlock. It is not a simple hole. It has many curves and notches. Each shape is for a different maneuver, pushing, turning, stopping, holding steady. I don't think about the maneuver. My hand finds the right notch by feel, by relationship with the water and the boat. I am not moving the water. I am having a conversation with it through the oar. If I try to force it, we hit the wall. Our willpower is like that oar. We often use it to thrash against the currents of our life, trying to force our way forward through sheer effort. We exhaust ourselves and still end up hitting the walls of resistance, burnout, frustration, repeated mistakes. The gondolier's art is the art of skillful relationship, not brute force. His forcola, his set of skillful notches, are his attitudes, patience, acceptance, timing, discernment. What is your inner forcola? When you meet resistance, what notch does your awareness find? The notch of frustration? The notch of anxious pushing? Or can you, through practice, learn to find the notch of allowance? The notch of gentle, firm pressure that guides rather than fights? Acceptance is discovering that you have more notches on your oarlock than you thought. You don't have to fight the water of your emotions or circumstances. You can place your oar of attention into the notch of observation, and let the intelligence of the situation guide your next move. Sometimes the skillful move is to stop, to hold steady against the current of impulse. Sometimes it's a gentle push toward a new direction. But it always begins by feeling the water, not declaring war on it. So, as you rest, feel the water of this moment. The flow of your energy. Is it agitated? Slow? Still? Don't try to change its flow. Just feel it. Imagine resting your oar of awareness in the notch called allowing. Feel the support of that. There is no destination to reach tonight. Only the gentle, skillful relationship with the here and now. I have a friend who is a master stone wall builder in New England. His walls, built without mortar, stand for generations. I asked him his secret. He picked up 2 rough, irregular stones. Most people look for stones that are already square, that fit easily, he said. But there are never enough of those. The secret is to look at the negative space. See this gap? He pointed between 2 placed stones. I don't look for a stone to fill the hole. I look at the shape of the hole, and then I find the stone whose uniqueness matches that emptiness. The wall isn't built from perfect stones. It's built from honoring the unique shape of every single one, and the unique shape of the need beside it. The strength is in the mutual fitting, not in the perfection of the pieces. We try to build our sense of self and our lives from perfect stones, ideal emotions, flawless performances, unimpeachable decisions. We reject the irregular stones of our failure, our quirks, our wounds, our awkwardness. We think they weaken the wall. But the master wall builder teaches us that strength and beauty come from inclusion. The wall of your character is held together by the interlocking of all your parts. The smooth and the rough, the proud achievements and the humble, weathered stones of your vulnerabilities. The negative space of your need, your emptiness, your longing, it is not a flaw. It is the precise space waiting for the unique shape of a corresponding experience, a lesson, a connection, to lock into it and create stability. Acceptance is seeing the irregular stone of your present feeling, be it sadness, lethargy, or simple ordinariness, and instead of discarding it, asking, where does this fit? What emptiness in my wall of understanding does this unique shape complement? When you stop trying to hammer yourself into a perfect square and start appreciating your own interesting contours, you find you are exactly the right shape for the wall of your life as it is actually being built. The stability you seek comes from this integration, not from the exclusion of what you deem unworthy. Take a moment to feel the wall of your being. Sense its solidity, not as a monolithic block, but as a beautiful, interlocking structure of countless experiences and qualities. Appreciate the rough stone of a current challenge, the smooth stone of a quiet breath, the odd-shaped stone of a memory. They all hold each other in place. They all belong. In the high Andes, Quechua farmers use a method of agriculture called waro-waro, raised fields surrounded by canals. In the harsh altiplano, with its freezing nights and scorching days, this ancient technology creates a microclimate. The water in the canals absorbs heat during the day and radiates it at night, protecting crops from frost. During rainy seasons, the canals drain excess water. The system doesn't fight the extreme environment. It creates a relationship with it, using its very elements to foster balance and life. An elder explained, the modern way is to bring in outside things. Chemicals, machines, to force the land to be what it is not. The old way is to listen to the land and help it be more itself. The frost is not an enemy. It is a fact. So we build a conversation with the frost using water and earth. The problem is not the condition. The problem is believing the condition should not exist. We often approach our internal climate, our moods, our energy levels, our mental weather, with a modern mindset. We try to import forced positivity, distraction, or suppression to fight the natural frost of sadness or the flood of anxiety. We exhaust ourselves trying to eliminate conditions that are inherent to the landscape of being human. The waro-waro wisdom is one of integrated acceptance. It asks, given that this internal frost exists, how can I create a protective microclimate of self-care? Perhaps the canal is the space you create through meditation, holding the warmth of your attention to radiate gentleness when emotional coldness comes. Perhaps the raised bed is the perspective you build through reflection, lifting your vulnerable feelings above the flooding waters of overwhelm so they can still grow. You don't defeat the frost. You relate to it intelligently. You build a sustainable system within yourself that works with your nature, not against it. Sense your internal climate right now. Is there a slight chill of loneliness? A warmth of contentment? A dry spell of inspiration? Don't judge it as good or bad. Simply acknowledge it as the current weather on your inner altiplano. Then, imagine the gentle, raised bed of your awareness, holding your experience safely. The canal of your breath surrounding it, regulating the temperature with its rhythm. You are creating a nurturing microclimate for your soul, simply by paying attention in this way. There is a famous clock in the Cathedral of Strasbourg, France. It is an astronomical clock of breathtaking complexity, showing not only the time but the positions of the sun and moon, the day of the week, the sign of the zodiac, and even religious holidays. It is a masterpiece of gears and wheels. But at its center is something simple, a pendulum. A weighted rod swinging back and forth with a steady, unchanging rhythm. All the elaborate calculations, all the moving figures and celestial maps, are governed by that one, simple, regular beat. A clock-keeper once said, "If the pendulum loses its constancy, the entire show becomes a lie." The planets on the face would spin wildly. The saints would appear at the wrong hour. The grandeur depends entirely on the humility of the swing. Your mind is like that astronomical clock. It produces incredibly complex displays, plans, memories, fantasies, worries, symphonies of thought and emotion. It can feel overwhelming, this intricate internal mechanism constantly in motion. But at the center of it all is your own pendulum, the breath. The steady, metronome swing of inhalation and exhalation. When you get lost in the elaborate displays on the clock face of your mind, the worrying about future complications, the analyzing of past intricacies, you can always return to the pendulum. You don't have to understand the clockwork. You just have to feel the swing. In breath. Out breath. This humble rhythm regulates everything. It grounds the celestial dance of your thoughts in the simple, undeniable truth of the body, alive, here and now. Your breath is the governor of your inner universe. By bringing your attention to it, you are not ignoring the complexity of your life. You are ensuring that the complexity is held in truth, in rhythm, rather than spinning off into chaotic, fearful fiction. The grandeur of your being can express itself freely when the central pendulum is honored. So now, let everything else be the elaborate clock face. The thoughts, the sounds, the sensations, let them be the moving planets and saints. Bring the core of your attention to the pendulum. Feel it swing in the belly or the chest. In and out. Nothing fancy. Just the constant, humble, governing beat. As you sync with it, notice how the mental clock face, while still perhaps active, loses its power to disorient you. It is all held within the steady sway of presence. Finally, consider the dandelion. A child sees a perfect, fluffy white sphere, a wish-granting orb. A gardener sees a weed, an annoyance to be rooted out. An herbalist sees a powerful diuretic and liver tonic. A bee sees a vital source of early spring pollen. The dandelion itself is none of these stories. It is simply itself, a life form following its nature, spreading its seeds to the wind. We are like that. We carry so many stories about ourselves. I am successful or failing. I am lovable or unworthy. I am a problem solver or a procrastinator. These stories are like the perspectives of the child, the gardener, the herbalist. They are interpretations, not the thing itself. The dandelion does not argue with the gardener or preen for the herbalist. It exists prior to and beyond all description. Acceptance, in its most radical form, is the willingness to exist as the dandelion. To rest in the simple, wordless fact of your being, prior to all judgment and categorization. To feel the vitality humming in your cells without calling it good or bad. To notice awareness itself, without needing it to be anything other than awake. This is not easy, because we are addicted to our stories. But in the space between thoughts, in the depth of rest, you can touch it. The you that is not a story. The you that is simply, here. Alive. Aware. As sleep approaches, let all the stories, the gardener's complaints, the child's wishes, the herbalist's analyses, fall away like seeds on the wind. What remains is the green stem of your presence, rooted in the earth of this moment, reaching into the sky of awareness. That is enough. That is more than enough. It is everything. Let's drift now to the sprawling, ancient banyan trees of India. A single banyan can appear as an entire forest. It grows not only upward but outward, sending down aerial roots from its branches that, upon touching the earth, thicken into new trunks. Over centuries, one tree becomes a colonnaded temple of wood and leaf, a labyrinth of supported spaces. It's impossible to tell where the original tree ends and the new supports begin. They are all one interconnected organism. A botanist studying these giants said, "The banyan teaches us about support. It doesn't rely on one deep taproot alone. As it expands, it sends down new roots from its very edges, from its most extended limbs. It creates support from its points of greatest reach and vulnerability. Its strength is in its interconnectedness, in its willingness to anchor itself over and over again in the present ground beneath its growth." We often think we need to have one, deep, unshakable core of confidence before we can branch out into life. We wait to feel secure before we risk, love, or create. The banyan offers a different model. It grows first, and from its growing, stretching branches, it sends down the roots of support. Your moments of presence are those aerial roots. Each time you feel overwhelmed at the edge of your capacity, in a difficult conversation, in a creative risk, in a moment of quiet fear, you can send down a root of awareness into the ground of the present moment. I am here. I feel this. That simple act creates a new point of stability. You don't need to have it all figured out at the center. You can build your resilience from the periphery, from exactly where you are. Your expanding life is supported by a forest of small, present moment anchorings. You are not a single, fragile trunk. You are a banyan, ever creating your own support system through the simple, repeated act of touching down into now. Picture a master glassblower in Murano, Italy. Before him is a mass of molten glass, glowing like captured sunlight on the end of a blowpipe. He doesn't immediately blow or shape. He marvels it, he rolls it smoothly on a flat, steel table. This accomplishes two things: it cools the outer skin just enough to form a stable layer, and it makes the gather perfectly symmetrical. A novice will often skip this step, eager to get to the dramatic blowing. The result is a lopsided, weak form that cracks under pressure. The master once said, "The marver is where the piece finds its balance." It is not glamorous. It is hot, hard work. But if the gather is not centered and stable here, nothing that comes after will be right. You cannot force symmetry later. You must establish it in the heat of the beginning, through patience and consistent pressure. When a strong emotion or a difficult situation arises in our lives, it is like that gather of molten glass, hot, shapeless, full of potential but unstable. Our instinct is to immediately blow on it, to act, to react, to talk, to fix, to give it a shape driven by panic or desire. But the wisdom of the marver is to first apply the steady, cool surface of mindful pause. To roll the experience in the space of your awareness, allowing the initial, reactive heat to cool just enough to form a stable skin of perspective. In this pause, symmetry is found. You find your center in relation to the heat. From that balanced, stable core, any action you then take, any shape you choose to blow, will be strong, symmetrical, and true. Acceptance is not the end of the process. It is the essential marvering. It is the patient, unglamorous work of finding your balance within the heat of experience, so that what you create from it isn't fragile and misshapen, but durable and beautiful. Right now, is there a gather of something, a residual feeling from the day, an anticipation for tomorrow? Instead of blowing on it with thought, simply marver it. Hold it in your awareness. Roll it gently in the space of your attention. Let the initial reactivity cool into mere presence. Find the silent, stable center within you that can hold it. The shaping can wait. For now, there is only the establishment of balance. In the quiet, tea-growing mountains of Taiwan, there is a practice among some farmers called listening to the trees. They don't just tend them, they spend silent hours in their groves, especially after sunset. An old farmer told me, the trees talk to each other. Not with words, but with chemicals through the roots, with signals through the fungal networks in the soil. They warn of pests, share nutrients, support the weak. When I am very quiet, I can feel the mood of the grove. I know which tree needs less sun, which patch of soil is tired, not by looking, but by feeling the conversation happening beneath my feet. He said the hardest part for new farmers was learning to be that quiet, to stop projecting their own plans onto the land. You have to become part of the network, not its boss. The intelligence is in the connection. My job is to facilitate the conversation the trees are already having, not to dictate it. We are like a grove. Our thoughts, feelings, and bodily sensations are in constant, silent communication. A tension in the shoulder speaks to a worry in the mind. A feeling of lightness in the heart feeds a creative thought. But we are so often the noisy farmer, stomping through the grove with our agendas. I should be happy. This anxiety must go. Drowning out the subtle, intelligent conversation already happening within our own ecosystem. Acceptance is learning to listen to the trees. It is becoming quiet enough internally to feel the mood of your own being. To sense what part of you needs nourishment, what emotion is signaling like a tree releasing a pest warning chemical. You don't have to fix it immediately. You just have to listen to the network. This listening itself. This gentle, non-invasive attention, is a form of deep nourishment. It says to your inner grove, I am here. I am part of this. I am listening. And often, that is exactly what the system needed to begin its own innate rebalancing. So, become the quiet farmer in the grove of yourself. Lie still. Listen beneath the surface of thought. Feel the mood. The subtle exchanges. Is there a whisper of tiredness? A signal of peace? Just listen. You are not the boss of this grove. You are its most attentive listener, and in that, its most loving caretaker. I remember watching a master bookbinder restore a centuries-old text. The binding was broken, pages were loose. She didn't use modern glue or tape. She used thread made from flax, and a needle with a rounded point. Her stitching was incredibly slow, each pass a deliberate loop and pull. She explained, the strength is in the stitch pattern, and in the give of the thread. The book needs to open, to flex. If I use rigid adhesive, the next person who opens it will crack the spine. This thread will age with the paper. It will flex 1,000,000 times. It holds by being both strong and supple. She pointed to the pattern of stitches along the spine. This is a Coptic stitch. It creates a chain that is visibly beautiful on the outside. The repair is not hidden. It becomes part of the book's new story. Its strength is honest, and it allows for movement. When we are hurt or feel we are coming apart, we often reach for the psychological equivalent of rigid glue, denial, suppression, a hasty, inflexible story to bind our pain tightly and hide it. We want the break to disappear. But life requires flexing. You will need to open again to joy, to risk, to love. A rigid bind will crack. The bookbinder's way is the way of mindful repair. It is using the strong, supple thread of compassionate awareness to stitch your experience back together with a pattern that allows for movement. The repair, the scar, the lesson, the memory, remains visible, part of your honest story. It is not a weakness hidden, it is a strength woven. And because it is supple, it allows you to open to life again without fear of breaking. Acceptance is the first step in this binding. It is acknowledging the tear, and then choosing the supple thread of kind attention over the brittle glue of avoidance. If there's a place within you that feels loosely bound, frayed, or tender, imagine the gentle, rounded needle of your awareness. There's no need to stitch tonight. Just feel the possibility of a Coptic stitch, a connection that is both strong and beautiful, that honors the tear by making it part of your integral design. In the Arctic, there is a color for twilight that lasts for months. They call it the blue hour, but it is not an hour, it is a season. The sun skirts below the horizon, never fully rising or setting, bathing the world in an eternal, soft, blue-gray luminescence. Animals adapt their rhythms. Humans living there speak of a unique mental state that emerges, not quite daytime alertness, not quite nighttime rest, but a suspended, creative, dreamlike clarity. A researcher living in Svalbard described it: you lose the urgency of day and night. The external cue is gone. So you must find your rhythm internally. At first, it's disorienting. Then, if you surrender to it, you discover a third way of being. You are not driven, nor are you asleep. You are in a state of profound availability. Ideas connect in new ways. Silence becomes a companion, not an absence. The blue light washes away harsh contrasts. Everything is seen in its subtle, interconnected shades. We all go through personal, blue hours. Periods of transition, of illness, of grief, of waiting, when the familiar rhythms of our lives, the clear day of productivity, the dark night of rest, are suspended. We fight this, longing for the solid sun of certainty or the deep sleep of resolution. But what if we could meet these times as the Arctic dweller meets the polar twilight? Not as a problem of disorientation, but as an invitation to find an internal rhythm. To discover a third way of being that is not about doing or sleeping, but about abiding. About a soft, creative, available presence. In the blue light of uncertainty, the harsh contrasts of success and failure, love and loss, blur into softer shades of experience. You see connections you missed in the glaring sun of busyness. You hear the subtle notes of your own heart. Acceptance, here, is the surrender to the blue hour. It is saying, for now, the external sun is gone. I will not pretend it is day. I will not demand the blackness of final night. I will learn to see by this subtle, endless light, and find my rhythm within it. Your journey to sleep is a little blue hour. The day's urgency fades. The night's deep unconscious is not yet fully here. You are in the luminescent in-between. Surrender to it. Don't chase sleep like a sun. Don't fight wakefulness like a darkness. Abide in the soft, blue glow of this threshold. Let your mind make its subtle, creative connections. Let silence be a companion. In this acceptance of the in-between, you often find that sleep comes not as a conquest, but as a natural drift from one shade of blue into a deeper, star-flecked indigo. Finally, consider the humble, necessary work of the compost pile. It is not glamorous. It is a collection of discarded things. Peelings, scraps, wilted flowers, fallen leaves. Yet, within that pile, attended by moisture, air, and microorganisms, an alchemical transformation occurs. The items lose their individual identities. They break down into rich, dark humus, the very essence of fertility. This humus doesn't look like the apple core or the rose petal. It is something new, the potential for new life. Our minds have a constant compost pile. It's filled with the discarded scraps of the day, the unfinished conversation, the small embarrassment, the fleeting irritation, the forgotten task, the moment of beauty. At day's end, we often rummage through this pile, trying to reassemble the scraps, to make them meaningful or fix them. This is the equivalent of trying to glue the apple core back together. The practice of acceptance is allowing the compost pile to do its work. It is placing the day's experiences, the good, the bad, the mundane, into the warm, dark bin of your awareness as you rest. You don't need to sort them or understand them. In the darkness of sleep, the alchemy happens. The microorganisms of your subconscious, the moisture of your dreams, the turning of your neural processes, break it all down. The individual, charged identities of the events dissolve. What remains by morning is not the scrap itself, but the nutrient. The humus of wisdom, the fertile ground of a new perspective, the quiet energy for a new beginning. You don't do the composting. You simply provide the container of loving allowance and then rest, trusting the process. The intelligence of life within you knows how to transform waste into fertility, experience into growth. So now, as you cross fully into the blue hour of sleep, imagine placing the entire day, every thought, every feeling, into the sacred compost pile of the night. Give it all permission to break down, to transform. Your only job is to be the spacious, dark, receptive container. The alchemy of rest will do the rest. You will awaken not with the scraps, but with the rich soil from which something new can grow. Let's envision the great migrations of the Serengeti. Millions of wildebeest and zebra move in a vast, dusty cycle across the plains, driven by ancient rhythms of rain and grass. From the air, it appears as a single, flowing organism, a river of life. There is no individual deciding the path. The movement emerges from a collective intelligence, from a deep, ingrained response to the land's whispers. A guide once told me, if you watch one wildebeest, it seems skittish, confused. But watch the herd, and you see a mind, a knowing that is greater than any single animal. The individual doesn't need to know the whole route. It just needs to feel the impulse of its neighbors and the pull of the season. The journey happens through responsiveness, not through a map. Our lives have these migratory patterns. We are pulled by seasons of energy, creativity, rest, and connection. We often feel like that single, skittish wildebeest, anxious, unsure of the grand route, fearing we've lost our way. We crave a map, a guaranteed itinerary for our personal Serengeti. But the wisdom of the migration is about tuning into a different kind of knowing, the felt sense. The pull of your own vitality toward what nourishes you. The subtle push away from what depletes you. The rhythm of your body needing rest, then movement. You don't need to see the entire journey of your life. You just need to become exquisitely responsive to the immediate landscape of your present moment. The grass of your current opportunities, the water of your inner peace, the season of your heart. Acceptance is aligning with this migratory intelligence. It is stopping the mental argument, I should be over there by now, and instead feeling for the collective whisper of your own being, the next gentle step, the next instinct to turn, the next call to rest. The journey unfolds through following the life within you, not a plan outside of you. In the deep, cold waters off the coast of Japan, pearl divers known as AMA have practiced their craft for nearly 2,000 years. Traditionally, they dive without oxygen tanks, holding a single breath for minutes at a time. They descend along an anchor line, their world narrowing to the rhythm of their heartbeat and the search below. What's remarkable is their surface interval. After a dive, they do not gasp frantically. They perform a unique breathing technique. A long, slow whistle as they exhale, followed by a calm, deep inhale. This controlled breath serves to calm the heart and equalize pressure, but a master AMA described it differently. The whistle is not just for the body. It is to release the world of the deep. To leave the silence and the pressure down there, and to return fully to the world of the sun and air. If I bring the pressure up with me, I cannot dive again. Each world must be complete. We all dive into the depths of our daily lives, into work, into relationships, into intense focus or emotion. The problem is we often surface still holding the pressure. We bring the urgency of the project to the dinner table. We carry the worry from a conversation into our solitude. We don't perform the psychic whistle that releases one world to fully enter another. Acceptance can be this conscious surface interval, It is the deliberate, whistling exhale that says, that experience is complete for now. I release its pressure. It is the calm inhale that says, I am here now, in this new moment, with its own qualities. Before sleep is the most important surface interval of all. It is the time to whistle out the pressures of the day, not to analyze them, but to release your grip on them. To let them settle back into the depths of the past. Then you can inhale the cool, quiet air of the night, fresh and unburdened. You are preparing to dive into the deep, restorative waters of sleep, and you cannot bring the sunlit world with you. So now, let's perform the Ama's breath. Take a deep, slow inhale through your nose, and as you exhale through gently pursed lips, make a soft, whispering sound. Imagine it is the sound of releasing the day's pressures, the mental weights. Do this 2 or 3 times. With each whistling exhale, feel yourself surfacing fully into the peaceful, weightless atmosphere of the night. There is a type of bridge in the Himalayas, used for centuries, called a jhula or rope bridge. It is made of woven fibers, stretched across a raging river or a deep gorge. It sways and bounces with every step. The instructions for crossing are counterintuitive. Do not look at your feet. Do not look at the churning water below. Fix your gaze on the far side of the bridge, on the solid land. And then, you must not fight the sway. You must move with it. If you tense up and try to remain rigid, the bridge will buck you off. Your steps must be rhythmic, yielding to the swing, using its momentum. A Sherpa guide explained, the bridge is alive. It is in conversation with the wind and your weight. You do not cross a dead thing. You dance with a living one. Your fear wants to freeze you, to make you look down at the danger. But the only safety is in joining the dance, in trusting the movement, and in keeping your eyes on where you are going. When we face periods of instability in life, emotional turmoil, financial uncertainty, relational shifts, it feels like we are on that rope bridge. Our instinct is to freeze in fear, to stare down at the raging river of potential disaster, to tense every muscle against the sway. This is what creates suffering, and often, a fall. The wisdom is in the Sherpa's advice. First, fix your gaze not on the problem, the churning water, but on the stable ground of your core intention, peace, love, integrity. Then, stop fighting the sway. Stop trying to make life rigid and stable on your terms. Instead, learn the rhythm of the instability. Move with it. A step taken in harmony with the sway is a safe step. Acceptance is not passive resignation on the bridge. It is the active, courageous participation in the dance of uncertainty, all while keeping your heart oriented towards solid ground. The bridge is not your enemy. It is your partner in crossing. Feel the metaphoric bridge of this night. It sways gently between wakefulness and sleep. Don't fight the sway by trying to force sleep or clinging to wakefulness. Soften your mental muscles. Feel the rhythm of your breathing, the gentle rocking of your consciousness. Keep your inner gaze on the solid ground of rest you know awaits. And simply move with the sway, step by breath, into the arms of the night. I once visited a monastery in Greece where they make kefeda, sugar-coated almonds given at weddings and baptisms. The process is mesmerizing. Raw almonds are placed in a large, rotating copper drum over heat. Sugar syrup is poured in. For hours, the monk turns the drum, slowly, steadily. At first, the almonds are sticky, clumped together in a gooey mess. But he never stops the gentle turning. Gradually, as the heat and motion work, the individual almonds separate. Layer upon thin layer of sugar crystallizes on each one, until they are perfectly round, smooth, white, and separate, delicate and strong. The monk said, the key is constant, gentle motion. If you turn too fast, the sugar cracks. If you stop, they become one hard, useless mass. The heat is the difficulty of life. The syrup is your experience. The turning is your mindful attention. At first, everything is a sticky, confused mess. But if you keep turning it with patience, with a gentle, consistent awareness, the confusion separates. Experience coats you, layer by layer, not as a scar, but as a smooth, resilient pearl of understanding. You become distinct, yet sweetened by the process. When we are in a sticky period, overwhelmed by emotions, tangled in problems, we want to either stop the drum, numb out, or spin it frantically, panic and overthink. Both lead to a hardened, dysfunctional mass. The transformative middle way is the monk's gentle, consistent turning. It is the practice of daily, patient awareness. You don't try to pick apart the sticky clump of your feelings with force. You simply apply the gentle, rotating heat of your kind attention. You keep showing up. And slowly, through that constancy, the mess begins to separate. Experiences integrate. You are coated, not damaged, by what you go through. You become a kafeda, something bitter made sweet, something fragile made resilient, through the alchemy of patient, attentive process. As you rest, imagine any inner stickiness from the day placed in that warm, rotating drum. You are not the monk doing the work. You are the drum, the heat, the syrup, and the almond all at once. The gentle motion is the rhythm of your breath. Trust the process. The crystallization of peace is happening in the warm darkness. In the digital age, we are familiar with the buffer, that little circle that spins when a video is loading. It's a pause that allows data to accumulate so the stream can play smoothly. Without it, the video stutters, freezes, becomes unwatchable. Our nervous systems need buffers too. We move from stimulus to stimulus, task to task, thought to thought, with no pause to integrate the data of our experience. We stutter emotionally. We freeze with overwhelm. The ancients built buffers into life: dusk, Sabbath, rituals, storytelling by the fire. These were intentional pauses for psychic digestion. Sleep is the ultimate buffer. It is not laziness, it is essential processing time. But we can create micro-buffers throughout our waking life through the practice of acceptance. Acceptance is the mental buffer icon. It is the conscious decision to pause before reacting, to allow a feeling to be fully felt before labeling it, to rest in the space between stimulus and response. In that buffer, data integrates. Clarity forms. The next moment can then stream smoothly, without the stutter of reactive panic or the freeze of indecision. Right now, you are in the great buffer of the night. All the data of the day, the week, the year, is being integrated. Your job is not to force the streaming of tomorrow's video. Your job is to honor the buffer. To let the circle spin. To trust that this pause is what makes coherent, smooth experience possible. The more you respect the buffer in your waking life, through mindful pauses, through breaths between actions, the more you honor this deep truth: life is not meant to be a continuous, unprocessed stream. It is meant to be a series of meaningful moments, each one allowed to land and integrate before the next begins. Finally, consider the physics of a submarine. To dive, it doesn't fight the ocean. It doesn't try to become heavier than the water. It simply takes water into its ballast tanks, making itself neutrally buoyant, having the same density as the surrounding sea. Then, with a small nudge from its planes, it sinks gracefully into the depths. To surface, it expels the water, becoming lighter than the sea, and rises effortlessly. We often try to navigate our emotional depths by fighting them. We try to be lighter than our sadness, our fear, our anger, forcing positivity, denial. Or we become heavier than them, sinking into despair, identified completely with the darkness. Both are struggles. The submarine's wisdom is the wisdom of neutral buoyancy. It is the state of acceptance. You allow the water of your feeling, the sadness, the fear, to come into your tank. You don't fight it. You let it in. In doing so, you achieve a kind of equilibrium with your experience. You are not lighter than it, in denial, nor heavier than it, in despair. You are with it. From that state of balanced presence, you can then navigate. A small, gentle intention, the plane, can guide you through the depths with grace, or back to the sunlit surface when the time is right. But the power comes from first achieving that balance, that non-resistant relationship with what is. As you prepare to dive into the depths of sleep, check your buoyancy. Have you been trying to be lighter than your day, denying its weight? Heavier than it, drowning in its stories? Breathe in, and imagine allowing the waters of your experience into your ballast tanks. I am sad about that. I am tired from this. I am hopeful for that. Just let it in. Achieve that neutral, peaceful balance with what is. From this state of acceptance, you can now dive deep into restorative sleep, or surface gently into dreams, without struggle. You are one with the ocean of the night. Imagine the quiet, patient work of a spider. Not in a corner of a house, but in a misty forest at dawn. She spins her web between branches, a geometric masterpiece of sticky silk and startling strength. Once complete, she retreats to the center or the edge, and waits. She does not chase her prey. She does not strain or strive. Her web is an extension of her being, a perfect reflection of her nature and her needs, placed skillfully in the path of the world's flow. When something nourishing comes along, the web trembles with a specific frequency. She feels it, and responds. When debris or danger strikes, she may cut it loose, letting it fall away without damaging the integrity of her entire structure. A naturalist once told me, the spider's genius is in her receptivity. She has built a sensitive instrument, and then she listens with her whole body. Her action is perfectly proportional to the signal. No wasted energy. No frantic searching. She is in a state of dynamic, intelligent rest. We can learn from this arachnid architect. We often live in a state of chasing goals, validation, solutions, even peace. We exhaust ourselves striving. The spider teaches a different way. Build your web with care. Your web is your life structure, your values, your practices, your healthy routines, your circle of care. Build it authentically, based on your true nature. Then, trust it. Take your place at the center of your own life, and practice receptive awareness. Listen for the tremors that signal nourishment, opportunities, connections, moments of joy. Respond to those. And for the debris of life, the minor irritations, the unimportant criticisms, the chaotic noise. Develop the spider's discernment. Feel which vibrations are worth engaging with, and which you can simply cut loose, letting them fall away without tearing your peace. Acceptance here is not passive, it is the height of intelligent engagement. It is building a resilient structure and then having the faith to be still within it, responding wisely rather than reacting wildly to every passing breeze. Now, picture a master goldsmith in a souk in Bahrain. He works with a small, intense flame, melting precious metal in a crucible. Before he pours it into a mold to create an intricate piece of jewelry, he must do one crucial thing: he schemes the surface. Impurities, bits of dust, oxides, other metals, rise to the top. With a special tool, he gently removes this dross, leaving only pure, molten gold. If he skips this step, the final piece will be flawed, brittle, or discolored. He explained, the fire brings the impurities up. That is its gift. My job is not to get angry at the impurities. They are part of the ore. My job is to recognize them when they appear and lift them away. The pure gold is always there, underneath. The fire just helps me see what is not gold. Our periods of difficulty, our emotional fires, serve a similar purpose. Stress, conflict, and intense feeling act as a crucible. They bring our impurities to the surface, our old fears, our conditioned reactions, our hidden insecurities. We often see this as a catastrophe. Look at all this ugly dross in me. We try to shut down the fire, or we become identified with the scum. But the goldsmith's wisdom reframes this. The fire of experience is a purifying agent. It shows you what is not truly you, what is merely conditioned reactivity, fear-based thought, borrowed belief. Acceptance, in this hot moment, is the skimming tool. It is the gentle, non-judgmental recognition, this rising panic is not my core self. This defensive anger is not my truth. In seeing it clearly, without fighting it, you can let it go. You can lift it from the surface of your awareness. What remains in the heat is your essential nature, resilient, valuable, pure. The difficulty didn't create the impurity, and it didn't create the gold. It simply revealed the difference, so you could choose what to keep and what to release. Feel the gentle heat of your own awareness now. Is there any slight dross on the surface? A lingering resentment, a petty worry? Don't condemn it. Just recognize it as the natural byproduct of the day's experiences coming to the surface in the quiet. With the skimming tool of a soft exhale, imagine letting it lift away. What remains is the quiet, glowing warmth of your simple presence. That is your gold. In the vast, silent halls of a natural history museum, there stands the skeleton of a great whale. Its immense rib cage arcs overhead like the vault of a cathedral. Children walk underneath, awestruck by the scale of a life that once moved through deep oceans. A paleontologist friend once shared a fascinating detail. We think of bones as the framework, the rigid structure that defines shape. But for a living whale, the bones were the lightest part. Their shape was defined and supported by the water itself. The ocean provided the pressure, the buoyancy, the medium through which they could move and exist at such size. The skeleton was just a delicate lacework within that pervasive support. We think of our principles, our routines, our sense of self as the rigid bones that hold us up. And when we feel unsupported, we try to thicken these bones, to make our will stronger, our discipline tougher. But what if, like the whale, our true support is the pervasive, embracing medium in which we live? What is that medium? It is the present moment. It is awareness itself. It is the endless, supportive now that holds all experience. Our plans and identities are the delicate lacework within this vast, buoyant ocean of consciousness. When you feel unsupported, sinking under weight, you are trying to rely on your bones alone. Acceptance is the remembrance to relax into the ocean. To feel the supportive pressure of the present moment all around you. To let it hold you up. You don't need to become a heavier skeleton. You need to remember you are a whale in an ocean of awareness, and you are designed to be held by it. Your breath is the current of that ocean. Your sensations are its pressure. Let go of the mental effort to stay afloat, and simply experience the fact that you are already floating, cradled in the deep, silent waters of now. Breathe, and feel that oceanic support. The bed beneath you is the sea floor, far below. The air around you is the water column. You are suspended, weightless, in the medium of this night. Your thoughts are just small fish passing through your immense, peaceful body. There is no need to swim. Just be buoyant. Just be held. I recall a conversation with a luthier, a maker of violins. He was carving the delicate front plate, or belly, of a cello from a piece of spruce. He tapped it with a knuckle, listening intently to the pitch. Every piece of wood has a natural resonance, he said. My job is not to force it to become a cello. My job is to find the cello that is already sleeping inside this wood. I carve away everything that is not that cello. I listen for its song, and I help it emerge. He carved a tiny shaving, tapped again, and smiled. There. It just spoke more clearly. We are like that block of resonant wood. We come into the world with a unique, inherent song, our essence, our calling, our way of being. But life layers on other things, expectations, traumas, conditioning, the opinions of others, thick layers of what we are not. We spend so much energy trying to add things to become a masterpiece, more skills, more achievements, more validation. The luthier's path is one of subtraction. It is the path of deep self-acceptance. It involves tapping gently on the structure of your being, through meditation, through quiet reflection, through honest feeling, and listening for your own true resonance. And then, with the careful tools of mindful choice and self-compassion, carving away what muffles that sound, the people-pleasing, the outdated stories, the fear-based identities. You are not creating a new you. You are uncovering the you that has always been there, whose song is pure and clear. Acceptance is the first tap of the knuckle. It is the willingness to listen to yourself as you are, without judgment, and to hear the beautiful, unique note waiting to ring out. Tonight, tap gently on your own being. Not with criticism, but with curiosity. As you lie in silence, ask, what is my fundamental note right now? Don't think it. Feel it. A feeling of tiredness has a note. A feeling of peace has a note. Just listen. There is no wrong answer. This simple, non-judgmental listening is the beginning of carving away the noise to find your essential song. In the world of traditional navigation across the Pacific, the Maori of New Zealand used star paths. They didn't just follow a single star, they followed a sequence, a path of stars that would rise and set in a specific order as they sailed. A star would be their guide until it began to sink toward the horizon, and then they would switch their alignment to the next star rising in the sequence. Their course was a chain of celestial handoffs. A wisdom keeper explained, you cannot sail across an ocean clinging to one star. The sky turns. The star that was your guide must be released when its time is over, and you must trust the next one to rise. Grief is clinging to a star that has set. Fear is refusing to see the new one rising. The path is made of many guides, each perfect for their part of the journey. We all have our guiding stars, people, jobs, identities, beliefs, stages of life that give us direction and meaning. But life is a voyage, and the sky turns. The star of our youth sets. The star of a particular relationship may set. If we cling to it, trying to steer by a light that is no longer in our sky, we become lost, adrift in grief or nostalgia. Acceptance, in this grand navigational sense, is the courage to thank the setting star for its faithful guidance, and then to lift our eyes to the darkening horizon to find the next one rising. It is trusting that the cosmos provides a path, not a single point. The new star may look different. Its light may feel unfamiliar. But it is part of the sequence that will get you home. Your current feeling, however difficult, might be that new, rising star. Guiding you not to where you were, but to where you need to go next. What star has been your guide recently? A routine? A hope? A role? Feel gratitude for its light. And now, feel the gentle turning of the sky. Is there a new star, faint on the horizon of your awareness, just beginning to rise? It might be the star of rest. The star of simplicity. The star of not knowing. Don't fear its unfamiliar light. Trust that it is the next step on your path home to yourself. Finally, consider the humble, vital process of fermentation. Take kimchi, or sourdough, or wine. It is a process of controlled spoilage. Microorganisms, bacteria, yeast, are allowed to do their work on the raw ingredients. The environment must be just right, the right temperature, the right level of sealing from air. It is not a sterile process. It requires introducing what, in other contexts, we would call contaminants. Yet, through this spoilage, flavor deepens, complexity develops, nutrition increases, and preservation occurs. The raw cabbage becomes kimchi, spicy, alive, probiotic, enduring. Our emotional and psychological health often requires a kind of fermentation. We try to keep our inner world sterile, only positive thoughts, only controlled feelings. We see difficult emotions as contaminants to be eliminated. But what if, like cabbage to kimchi, your wounds, your doubts, your periods of darkness are the raw ingredients for a deeper, more complex, more resilient form of wellness? The microorganisms are your feelings themselves, your subconscious processes. The right environment is the container of your accepting awareness, not too tight, repressive, not too exposed, overwhelming, but a vessel of mindful allowance. In this container, the spoilage of grief transforms into the depth of compassion. The fermentation of failure becomes the tang of wisdom. The process isn't always pleasant while it's happening. Fermentation can be bubbly, messy, odorous. But the result is something preserved, potent, alive, and nourishing in a way the raw ingredient could never be. Acceptance is creating the right inner environment for this transformative fermentation to occur. It is trusting that what feels like spoilage might be the beginning of a recipe for resilience you don't yet understand. As you enter the long, dark fermentation vat of the night, give permission to any raw ingredients within you. Let them be. Trust the silent, microbial work of your dreaming mind, your resting body. You are not rotting. You are fermenting. You are transforming the raw experiences of the day into the enduring, flavorful wisdom of a life fully lived. The process is out of your hands now. Your only task is to be the sealed, safe vessel, and to trust the alchemy of rest. Let's travel to the edge of the world, or so it seems, to the remote Faroe Islands, where cliffs plunge into a turbulent sea and grass-roofed villages cling to the slopes. Here, the weather is not a backdrop, it is a central character. The locals have a saying, if you don't like the weather, wait 5 minutes. But they don't just wait passively. They have a profound intimacy with its moods. They can read the subtle signs in the cloud formations over a specific mountain peak, or the behavior of the sheep, to know if a squall is coming or if a rare sunbreak is imminent. Their lives are a dance of adaptation, not a war against the elements. A fisherman told me, we do not curse the storm. We learn its language. The storm brings the deep water fish closer to shore. The fog hides us from the eyes of the birds we must hunt. The rain fills our cisterns. There is no bad weather, only whether you are not prepared for, or whether you are not reading correctly. Our peace comes from this relationship, from knowing we are part of this system, not its victim. Your inner world has its own weather systems, sunny spells of joy, fast-moving fronts of anxiety, lingering fog of uncertainty, sudden squalls of anger. We often curse our internal storms, seeing them as interruptions to the good weather of happiness we believe we deserve. We exhaust ourselves trying to control the uncontrollable climate of our emotions. The Faroese wisdom invites a shift from resistance to relationship. Can you learn the language of your inner weather? Can you see the anxiety not as an enemy, but as a low-pressure system that, while uncomfortable, might be churning up valuable insights from the depths? Can you see the fog of confusion not as a blindfold, but as a soft blanket that forces you to navigate by feel rather than sight, honing your intuition? Acceptance is becoming a native of your own inner landscape. It is developing such intimacy with your emotional weather patterns that you can prepare, adapt, and even find the hidden gifts within each condition. The storm is not happening to you, it is happening within the ecosystem that you are. And you can learn to dance with its energy. Now, picture a master weaver of Persian carpets. These are not made on a mechanical loom, but not by tiny knot, by hand. The pattern is mapped on a paper called a cartoon, but the weaver does not look at it constantly. She has internalized the sequence of colors and counts. Her hands move rhythmically, tying thousands of knots per day. If you ask her how she maintains the perfect pattern, she will tell you about the talon. The coded instructions sung or chanted by a master while apprentices work. It is a rhythm, a melody that guides the hands. The weaver follows the talon, not by frantic visual checking, but by entering a flow state, aligning her movements with the sung code. A weaving master explained, the eyes can deceive. They get tired. They see a mistake and create panic. But the talon is steady. It is a thread of sound that runs through the work. If you listen and follow its rhythm, your hands cannot make a major error. The pattern emerges from fidelity to the song, not from anxious scrutiny. Our minds are frantic visual checkers. We constantly look at the cartoon of our ideal life, our plans, our social comparisons, and then look at the messy knots we're tying, and we panic. We see mistakes, inconsistencies, flaws. This anxiety disrupts our rhythm and actually causes more errors. What is your talon? What is the steady, guiding rhythm beneath the surface of your striving? It is the rhythm of your breath. It is the deeper song of your values, kindness, authenticity, presence. It is the quiet pulse of life itself, wanting to express through you. When you get lost in the visual complexity of your problems, you can always return to the talon. Close the eyes of judgment. Listen for the inner rhythm. Align your next knot, your next action, your next response, your next breath with that steady song. The grand pattern of your life will emerge correctly, not from micromanaging every detail, but from faithful attunement to the guiding melody within. Acceptance is switching from the panic of the eyes to the trust of the ears. It is listening for your talon and letting your hands move in time with it. Right now, listen for your talon. It's in the space between your heartbeats. In the soft sound of your own breathing. In the quiet hum of existence in your ears. Let your awareness follow that rhythm, not your thoughts. Tie the knot of this moment to that sound. And the next. And the next. In the deep jungles of the Amazon, certain tribes use a remarkable plant medicine called ayahuasca, a brew that induces profound visionary states. The preparation is as important as the ceremony itself. The ayahuasquero, or shaman, often spends days in isolation, dieting on specific foods, singing icaros, medicine songs, to the brewing pot. He is not just making a chemical concoction, he is putting the medicine into the medicine. He explained it to an anthropologist: the vines and leaves have their spirit. But my intention, my song, my prayer, that is what directs the spirit. It tells the medicine what to do, where to go in the person who drinks it. Without the song, it is just a bitter tea that makes you sick. With the song, it becomes a teacher. We are all brewing our own inner medicine every day. Our experiences. The bitter vines of loss, the leaves of challenge, are the raw ingredients. But the transformative element, the thing that turns raw experience into a teacher, is the song we sing over it. That song is our interpretation, our attitude, our presence. If we brew our experiences with the song of resentment and victimhood, we create a bitter tea that only makes us sick with bitterness. But if we can learn to sing the song of acceptance, of curiosity, of compassionate witness over our difficulties, we alchemize them. They become teachers. They show us our shadows, our strengths, our connections. The experience itself doesn't change. The song does. And the song changes everything. You are the shaman of your own soul. The events of today are in your brewing pot. What song are you singing over them as you lie here? A lullaby of self-criticism? A dirge of regret? Can you change the tune? Can you hum, even silently, a song of gentle allowance? A melody that says, "This is what happened. I am here with it. Teach me what you must." This shift in song is the essence of acceptance. It is not changing the ingredients, it is changing the spirit with which you hold them. So, hum a silent tune to yourself. Let it be a simple, wordless melody of peace. Imagine it flowing through your body, singing to your experiences, softening their edges, inviting their wisdom. You are not just drinking the tea of your day. You are singing it into medicine. I once met a man in Kyoto who practiced kintsugi, the art of repairing broken pottery with lacquer mixed with gold, silver, or platinum. He showed me a simple rice bowl that had shattered. The Western way, he said, is to hide the repair. To make it invisible. The kintsugi way is to make the repair the most beautiful part. The cracks become veins of light. The break tells the story of the bowl's life, and its precious repair. He paused, holding a fragment. But the first step, and the most important, is to gather every single piece. You must not deny any fragment, no matter how small or seemingly insignificant. To pretend a piece is not lost is to live with a hidden weakness. The beauty comes from acknowledging the breakage completely, and then choosing to highlight it with gold. We all have breaks. Failures, losses, heartbreaks, betrayals. Our instinct is often to hide the damage. To glue ourselves back together with the invisible glue of "I'm fine," and hope no one sees the cracks. Or we discard the broken pieces of our experience, our vulnerability, our perceived flaws, trying to reassemble ourselves into a perfect, unbroken vessel. Kintsugi teaches that true wholeness includes the breaks. The first act of courage is to gather all the pieces of yourself, even the ones you're ashamed of, the failures, the heartaches. To acknowledge, yes, I broke here. Acceptance is this gathering. Then, the second act is to choose the gold of how you will repair. Will you repair with the gold of compassion? With the platinum of wisdom gained? The repair will never make the bowl what it was. It will make it something new, something with a story, something more valuable because it has known fracture and has been lovingly, artfully made whole again. Your scars are not something to hide. They are the potential sites of your greatest beauty, if you have the courage to gather the pieces and mend them with love. Feel the contours of your own being. Are there hairline cracks from today's stresses? Older, deeper fissures? Acknowledge them. Gather them in your awareness. Then, imagine breathing a soft, golden light into those very lines. Not to erase them, but to illuminate them. To say, this, too, is part of my design. This is the beginning of kintsugi for the soul. In the world of deep-sea exploration, submersibles are built to withstand immense pressure, tons per square inch. Their walls are not just thick, they are perfectly spherical, because a sphere distributes pressure evenly in all directions. Any flaw, any asymmetry, any weak point would cause a catastrophic implosion. The engineers don't fight the pressure, they design a shape that can embrace it, that can turn the crushing force of the deep into a balanced, supportive hug all around the vessel. When we are under great pressure, from work, from grief, from responsibility, we often try to become thicker, harder, more rigid. We tense up, bracing against the force. This creates internal weak points. Points of stress where we are fighting ourselves. The submersible's wisdom is to find a shape of consciousness that can hold the pressure without resisting it. That shape is awareness itself. Awareness is spherical. It has no edges to be crushed. It simply contains. When you feel under pressure, the call is not to tense and fight, but to relax into your own awareness. To become the sphere. To let the pressure of the situation be distributed evenly around the spacious container of your witnessing presence. From within that strong, balanced hold, you can observe, you can think, you can feel, without imploding. Acceptance is assuming the spherical shape of mindful presence. It is letting go of the rigid, vulnerable edges of your ego and resting in the all-around containment of being. Feel the pressure of the day, of life, against you. Now, imagine your sense of self expanding into a perfect, gentle sphere. The pressure is no longer on one spot, your tired mind, your aching heart. It is evenly distributed around the entire surface of your awareness. It becomes a uniform presence, almost a comfort, like the deep ocean hugging a submersible that is perfectly designed to be there. You are safe within the sphere of your own consciousness. Finally, think of a river delta, like the Mississippi Delta or the Ganges Brahmaputra. Here, the river, after its long, singular journey, meets the sea. It does not end. It spreads out into 1,000 channels, a labyrinth of waterways, creating an unbelievably rich wetland of life. The boundary between river and ocean becomes indistinct, a brackish, fertile blend. It is a place of immense creativity and nourishment, precisely because the river gives up its singular identity. We cling to our identity: I am this job, I am this role, I am this story. We see any diffusion of that identity as a threat, a kind of death. But the Delta teaches that an end can be a magnificent dispersal. Letting go of a rigid sense of self is not annihilation, it is the creation of a fertile delta. Your energies, your talents, your love, can spread out into countless channels when you release the need to be a single, defined stream. You become more connected, more creative, more nourishing to the world around you. The salt of the universal mixes with the fresh water of your individuality, and something new, something vital, emerges. Sleep is a little delta each night. The singular stream of your waking consciousness meets the vast ocean of the unconscious. It spreads out. It blends. It creates the fertile ground for dreams, for healing, for insight. You are not ending. You are delta NG. You are entering a state of creative, nourishing dispersion. Accept this generous dissolution. Trust that the ocean will return you to your channel in the morning, refreshed, with new silt of wisdom deposited in your soul. So, let the river of your mind finally reach the sea. Feel its banks soften and spread. Let your thoughts disperse into the salty darkness. Become the delta, not a thing, but a process of giving and receiving, of merging and creating. In this rich, brackish stillness, everything is possible, and you are part of everything. We have traveled through many landscapes, external and internal, gathering wisdom from deserts and forests, oceans and workshops. But all journeys, no matter how far they roam, circle back to the same quiet center, the here and the now. The destination was never a place on a map, but a quality of presence within your own being. So let us arrive, fully, completely, at this last story, which is also the first story, the story of your own awareness, resting at home in itself. In the high, thin air of the Andes, the Quechua people weave textiles with patterns that are more than decoration. They are cuero, a living language. A zigzag represents lightning, a stair-step the mountains, a diamond the eye of God watching over the community. But the most important part of the textile, a master weaver told me, is the chuma, the center, the heart. Every pattern radiates from the chuma, she said, her fingers tracing the central axis of a blanket. If the center is strong and true, even if the edges have mistakes, a missed stitch, a color that ran, the whole piece holds its power. The center holds the intention. The center is what makes it alive. She pointed to a small, almost invisible knot at the very middle of the back of the weaving. This is where I began. I tied this knot, set my intention, this will keep my family warm, this will honor the earth, and everything grew from that. When I am lost in the complexity of the border pattern, I feel for this knot with my fingers. It reminds me of the why. It brings me back to the heart. Your life is such a weaving. The days and years are the complex, sometimes messy patterns at the borders. You will make missed stitches. Colors will sometimes run together in confusion. But none of that diminishes the power of the piece if your chuma, your heart center, is strong and true. What is your chuma? It is your capacity for aware, loving presence. It is the silent I am that witnesses the weaving. It is the intention you set simply by being here, breathing, alive. Acceptance is the act of feeling for that central knot. When you are lost in the tangled patterns of worry, planning, or regret, you can pause. You can turn your attention inward, away from the noisy border, and feel for the quiet, steadfast knot of your own being at the center. I am here. I am aware. This is not a thought. It is a felt sense. That simple recentering does not erase the border patterns, but it puts them in perspective. They are expressions radiating from a calm, powerful center. They are held. They are not you. You are the chuma. Tonight, and always, you can return here. Now, let us consider the silent, patient work of a mountain. Not its majestic peak, but its deep, hidden root. Geologists tell us that the tallest mountains have the deepest roots, extending down into the mantle, balancing the massive weight above. The part we see is only a fraction of the whole. The stability is invisible, grounded in the hot, dark, foundational layers of the earth. A Tibetan monk once made this analogy: your peaceful mind is the peak, reaching into the clear sky of pure awareness. But its stability comes from its root, your willingness to be with everything, including the dark, hot, chaotic layers of your experience, your anger, your fear, your passion. If you try to have only the peak, only bliss, only calm, without the root, you will be unstable, like a pile of rocks. The mountain's strength is that its root embraces the very fire of the earth. Your strength comes when your awareness willingly embraces the full spectrum of your humanity, without exception. The peak and the root are one system. We often seek peace as a rejection of our difficult emotions. We try to lop off the root system of our shadow. But true, unshakable peace is mountain-like. It is grounded in a courageous, accepting embrace of our entire being, the light and the dark, the calm and the storm. The fire of your anger, when held in the deep root of awareness, becomes the geothermal energy that warms your compassion. The pressure of your grief becomes the tectonic force that deepens your valley of understanding. Acceptance is not choosing the peak over the root. It is understanding they are inseparable. It is consenting to be the whole mountain. Feel that wholeness now. The peak of your head, quiet and clear. The slopes of your body, relaxed and heavy. And the deep, dark, silent root of your being, extending down through the bed, into the earth, drawing stability from the acceptance of everything you are. You are not just resting on the earth. You are rooted in it. A mountain of peace. I want to share a personal memory of my grandfather, a quiet man who kept bees. I was always afraid of being stung, so I'd watch him from the kitchen window. One afternoon, a swarm settled on a low branch in his yard, a vibrating, living beard of bees. He walked out, not in his protective suit, but in his everyday clothes. He slowly brought an old, straw skep close to the cluster. Then he began to gently brush the bees into it with his bare hands. I held my breath. Later, I asked him how he wasn't afraid. "The swarm isn't angry," he said. It's confused. It has lost its queen, its center. It is a mind without a home. My job is not to fight the bees, but to offer them a home. To move with a calm they can trust. If I am frantic, they feel it as a threat. If I am calm, they read it as a direction. The swarm is just looking for acceptance, for a place to settle and become a hive again. There are times when our own minds become a confused swarm, thoughts buzzing in chaotic, anxious circles without a center. We try to fight the swarm, to bat it away, which only makes it more agitated and likely to sting. The beekeeper's way is the way of centering calm. You cannot stop the bees from buzzing, but you can become so profoundly calm, so centered in your own being, that you offer a skep, a home, for your scattered awareness. You don't engage with each frantic thought. You simply provide a spacious, welcoming stillness. The thoughts, sensing this stable, accepting presence, gradually lose their frantic energy. They settle. They become part of the productive hive of your mind once more. The queen, your quiet, witnessing awareness, was always there. You just had to remember her, and offer her calm as the place for everything to come home. Your mind may still have a few last bees circling from the day. That's all right. Don't swat at them. Be the beekeeper. Feel the deep, central calm of your body at rest. That is your skep. Gently, in your imagination, invite the buzzing thoughts to settle into this warmth, this darkness. They are not your enemies. They are just parts of you, confused, looking for the queen. And you are here. You are home. In the great Gothic cathedrals of Europe, like Chartres, the architects faced a paradox. They wanted to build walls of immense stained glass, to fill the space with holy light. But glass is fragile, it cannot hold up a stone roof. Their genius was the flying buttress, an external, arched support that transfers the weight and thrust of the roof away from the glass walls, out and down into the ground. The buttress looks separate, but it is integral. It allows the wall to be what it is, a fragile, beautiful membrane of color and light, without having to carry a burden it was never meant to bear. We often make our sensitive hearts, our creative spirits, our peaceful minds, carry burdens they were never meant to bear. The weight of the world's suffering, the thrust of others' expectations, the roof of our own relentless responsibilities. We try to make our glass walls also be load-bearing stone, and we wonder why we feel on the verge of cracking. The flying buttress is a metaphor for healthy support and wise limitation. What are your flying buttresses? They are the practices that transfer weight away from your core being, the friend you can talk to, the walk in nature, the act of saying no, the meditation that connects you to something larger than your personal drama, the simple act of sleep. Acceptance is knowing you are a cathedral of glass, not a fortress of stone. It is having the humility to build buttresses, to ask for help, to set boundaries, to prioritize rest. It is understanding that your beauty and transparency are not weaknesses, but the very point. And to protect them, you need external supports that lovingly channel the weight away, into the ground of being, so you can remain a vessel for light. As you lie in the cathedral of the night, feel the supports that hold you. The bed is a buttress. The silence is a buttress. The trust that tomorrow will come as a buttress. Let them carry the weight. You are the stained glass, beautiful and complex, illuminated now by the moonlight of pure awareness. Your only job is to let the light pass through. Finally, we arrive at the simplest teacher of all, the candle flame. In a completely still room, a candle burns with a perfect, steady, teardrop-shaped flame. It is peaceful. But if you bring two candles close together, something magical happens. The flames do not remain separate. They lean toward each other. Their light merges. They become one, larger, brighter flame. If you then separate them, they become two again, unchanged, but having shared their light. This is a phenomenon called flame kissing. A physicist might explain the airflow, but a poet sees the truth: light recognizes itself. It is drawn to its own kind. In union, it becomes more without becoming less. Your awareness is that flame. In the deep stillness of meditation or sleep, it burns clear and steady, a single point of conscious light. But this light is not isolated. It is the same light that shines in every other being. When you meet the world from a place of acceptance. When you meet another person, a tree, a difficult feeling, without the winds of judgment and resistance, your flame leans in. There is a recognition. A sharing of light. You do not lose yourself. You become part of a greater brightness. The boundary between my peace and the peace of the world softens. This is the secret heart of compassion and interconnectedness. It begins not with effort, but with the stillness that allows your flame to burn clear, and the acceptance that allows it to recognize itself in everything else. As you move from this guided journey into your own silent sleep, carry this image. You are a candle flame in the great, dark room of existence. Around you are countless other flames, other sleepers, dreamers, beings. In the stillness, your lights are not separate. They are leaning toward one another, merging in the shared atmosphere of peace. You are not alone in your rest. You are part of a vast, quiet congregation of light, all held in the same gentle night. And so, we end where we began, but hopefully, you feel you have arrived somewhere new, right here. The mud on the path, the unexpected rain, the cracks in the wall, the molten glass of emotion, the weaving of your days, the mountain of your being. All these stories point to a single, gentle truth. Resistance to what is creates a shadow world of suffering, a secondary layer of pain on top of the natural, sometimes difficult, texture of life. Acceptance is the willingness to put down that burden. It is not passivity. It is the most intelligent and courageous response to reality, to meet it directly, to feel it fully, and to choose your relationship to it from a place of clear seeing, rather than blind reaction. You have been given many tools tonight. The librarian's soft touch. The gondolier's forcola. The Alma's whistling breath. The spider's receptive web. You do not need to remember them all. They are all just different fingers pointing at the same moon. The moon is your own aware presence, shining right now through the scattered clouds of thought. Let everything settle. The stories, the teachings, the metaphors. Let them all fall away like leaves settling on a forest floor, enriching the soil of your understanding, but no longer requiring your attention. What remains is you. Breathing. Feeling. Aware. This is the temple. Not made of wood or stone, but of silence and attention. And you have always been here. May the peace you have touched tonight ripple into your dreams, and greet you softly in the morning. May you carry a little of this acceptance forward, not as a heavy lesson, but as a light touch, a kinder way of meeting the next moment, and the next. Thank you for spending this time in the monk's moon temple. The journey is complete, but the practice is endless, and always available, in the simplicity of a single breath. Sleep deeply, and wake gently. Good night.